So we're talking about
ultrasounds
for the baby.
We've had a couple of them now.
Had a couple of them.
The first ultrasound that we were able to go to in person was the 20-week ultrasound, and that is where they do the first body scan or anatomy scan. And we were actually able to fly to Orlando.
It was really cool.
And be there for the appointment.
Because everything up until then had been virtual. She would have to FaceTime us. Like, she would get into the doctor's office and FaceTime us, and we would just watch.
Okay.
But the first time she did that, we were together, correct? And Steven, that was when you got to hear the heartbeat. The first ultrasound, right?
That's not an ultrasound. It's called something else.
When did you hear the heartbeat?
I would have to check.
They call it the heartbeat check. But one of those you weren't able to be there.
So...
Yeah, September.
Oh, September 7th.
You couldn't be on the call.
Where I couldn't be on the call. That was September 7th, yeah.
Yeah. First ultrasounds, and that was when they could hear like a little bit of the heartbeat.
Yeah.
And then there was one where you couldn't be there.
Which was on the 7th.
And we could hear the strong heartbeat, so we were like, great.
Yes.
And then we got to go to Orlando.
Well, no, and then they had, the first time we got photos was September 17th.
Yes.
So I guess that was like, I don't know the difference then between an ultrasound and the other thing.
Well, it's both. I mean, I think that they can always, usually the ultrasound you can see the heartbeat, and then the other one they can hear it. And that's
right.
So but we only have been able to go virtually, and then we were finally able to go in person. We got to walk with her into the doctor's office. We got to be there, but they wouldn't let us film anything inside. We just have...
But we have the photos that they took. So that was at the 20-week appointment. And so they did the anatomy scan where they measure all of the baby's organs and body and anatomy and make sure that everything's okay. And they were able to get, I think, most of it. I think there were a couple things that they had a hard time kind of getting because he kept moving around. He wouldn't stop moving, and he kept facing her back instead of her front. So, it was challenging because he kept moving.
So we're in trouble if he's shy, because that's a problem.
He's not going to be shy. What do you mean? What? Oh, because
he kept hiding, and he kept hiding in the placenta.
Yeah.
He was like hiding.
So that was the 20-week scan.
But what's interesting about it is like when the ultrasound we went to in person, a lot of these places, I don't think they deal with surrogacy and gay couples, because like they kept calling her mama, mommy, and Crystal was really cool about like kind of correcting them and in a very like gentle way, just kind of being like, actually it's their baby.
She was so sweet.
She's like such a champ to be able to do it, but it is super awkward to sort of be the, you kind of stick out when you're like the gay couple at like an OB clinic.
I didn't really care.
I'm not saying I cared. I'm just trying to tell people like what it's like.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we did stick out, but I mean, I didn't really, I was so excited I didn't really care. I didn't notice.
So that was one thing I noticed. And then we got some great photos, but then of course she had to go back to get the photos that they didn't get.
That they didn't get. And that was about 4 weeks later was the next one. And then we couldn't be there obviously in person, and we did it on FaceTime that time, and they were able to get
the rest.
Yeah, like I think there was like a foot and a hand they couldn't get the last time, things like that.
But of course we've hinted that it's a boy.
It's a boy.
We'll make a separate video about how that came, how we found out it was a boy.
Yeah.
But
the ultrasounds are really cool. And
do you want to show them?
The photos,
they're over there.
No. Do we?
Why not? Show them what it looks like.
Okay, I'll show you some photos.
The funny thing is, like, as soon as they turned the camera on, he was like, they were like, oh, it's a boy. He was ready to show it off.
Do you know where the other ones are?
Yeah, they're on the counter.
Oh no, the ones that we have the most recent are actually.
Oh, they're digital. Yeah.
But we'll show you this is the one from the day we were there, and so this was the the photo of his face that they could get, because he kept moving around and he kept facing the placenta. So all they could get was his ear, because he kept moving around. And then the other photos are more like digital, like here's his foot. So that's just like kind of like a preview of like what the photos look like. And it's super exciting. And we got, the last time she was there, we got better photos of like his face and stuff, but they're digital. So it's exciting. It's really exciting.
Yeah, we're super pumped. So the next steps are, I guess like now she starts, because we're hitting the 3rd trimester soon. So she'll now start going more frequently. I think she has to go every week?
3 weeks.
Every 3 weeks for 3 weeks. And then, or like, I think every 3 weeks twice. And then she starts going every week as we get closer.
Yeah.
And we're hoping we'll be down there for one of them.
Yes. That will be at the end.
We'll definitely be there for the delivery.
Yes, we'll be there at the beginning of February. Yeah.
Her due date is April 2nd, but hopefully it'll be as close to that as possible so that we can plan accordingly. So more to come. We'll tell you about how we found out it was a boy in the next video.
That's
Stay
right.
tuned.